This is Theoretical Thrills, the podcast where three hosts pitch original theoretical rides and attractions based on things they don't own. A special guest judge awards bronze, silver, or gold based on three separate categories: most creative, most practical, and guest's favorite. With bragging rights on the line, the hosts will try to pick each other's ideas apart through gentle ribbing. So sit back, relax, and stand clear of the moving doors as we present Theoretical Thrills.
Theoretical Thrills, the theory of the thrill.
Oh boy!
In 3, 2, fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Theoretical Thrills. I'm your host, Oliver.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Spencer.
And we're joined by a very special guest this week. Alex, how you doing?
Hi, good. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
We're so excited to have you because you're here for a very special week, and that week is Scooby-Doo. Now, this is one of my favorite cartoons, easily one of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons. What is your relationship with Scooby-Doo, Alex?
Scooby-Doo is near and dear to my heart because I actually was the first Daphne Blake ever at Universal Studios Hollywood. What? So I'm wearing purple in Daphne's honor because she's super awesome. And yeah, so that's my biggest connection to Scooby-Doo. That's probably it. But I did it for a really long time in the theme park.
Well,
so
that counts. Yeah. And that even answers part of my next question, but feel free to expand on it, which was, what's your relationship to theme parks? And I would say it's right there.
That's a great transition. So I worked in theme parks. I worked at Universal Studios for, at least 5 years, if not more, on and off. Did Scooby-Doo, Daphne Blake, did a show called Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure, which got shut down. Yes, we have fans.
We have constantly mentioned it throughout this program.
I may have done several variations of Bill and Ted for different.
Several would be undercutting the amount that this gentleman has pitched.
Every week.
You should be sad that you did not bring one today because I would have chosen it. Or if you did, don't spoil it because I'll choose it. I might if it's great. But I love Bill and Ted. I also did Terminator. If you guys ever saw Terminator there,
yeah.
Terminator 2 3D. What else is and Grinchmas?
So you were there for a hot second doing a bunch of different things.
Yeah, so I did a bunch there, and then my first job out of college, I'm really tall. No one knows because we don't see people in person anymore. But I'm too tall to be a Disney theme park princess, but I could do Belle at the El Capitan in Hollywood. So I did that. That was my first theme park thing. Then worked at Legoland doing a musical theater show at Legoland. So you guys have been around the theme park circuit.
I'm sorry, you had me a musical theater show at Legoland.
Oh,
that's sort of a perfect Venn diagram of my interests. But okay.
Great. Lego, the musical theater.
I'm so on board. All right, so let's jump right in. So what you're going to be hearing from us today are 3 pitches each of attractions based off the IP of Scooby-Doo. This includes the movies, the TV shows, the cartoons, and may I even say the comics. Now, we'll be taking all of this stuff, putting it together, and giving you these pitches. You'll be then giving awards based on 3 categories. With that said, Alex, are you ready?
I'm so ready. I'm so excited. There's certain things that I just so deeply vibe toward. So I'm excited to see if anyone hits those things.
Same here. So with that said, Brad, take it away.
All right. Well, we spun the wheel. I'm going first. My first ride, I'm pretty proud of. All right. The big thing with it is we have the Scooby-Doo movies, and the Scooby-Doo all takes place in Coolsville. And in the Scooby-Doo 2, they take place specifically, they get to go to the museum where all of their the costumes of their former captures, villains, I guess you could say, are all on display. Are all on display. So what I want to do is, so I'm going to have a ride that starts off. You're going to go into the Coolsville Museum, where you'll get to walk around and see actual movie props from the Scooby-Doo movies, right there in glass cases and stuff, like you would back when the Great Movie Ride was a thing, where you got to see like actual movie props and stuff behind the glass and stuff as you're going to the queue to get in onto the ride. what's going to happen is that's going to take you, you're going to weave through the queue. You'll get to see all these different cool little props. And then you're going to be taken back into a security room. See, the idea is that you're there to help provide security for this museum exhibit. And on the security cameras, did you ever do Back to the Future? Or actually, yeah, I mean, they pretty much just took the exact same format for Simpsons. That little room, they put everybody that's going in the queue in that room. And it's going to, that's where the security cameras will be, and that's the sort of the security room. You're going to see these costumes come to life. All right, so you'll see it looks like people just walk around. You'll see these costumes come to life and break out, and it's, oh no, we got to go out the back and get in the mystery machine and get these costumes, track these costumes down. So you're going to go through the doors into the mystery machine. Now, the mystery machine is going to be set up like the van, in that no one's going to be in the front. You're going to load into the back of it. And it's going to have a sort of curved side bench and some other regular seats. The reason for this is I want you to feel like you're in a van. So the way the seating is going to be is you'll actually buckle in and stuff. Some will be sitting sideways. Some will be sort of sitting just like on a bench style seat.
But what are they looking out? There's no windows.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Hold on.
I don't know many vans that have side seats.
That's smart so far.
Yes. The mystery machine does. Look it up.
It's true, it does. But go on, continue.
Ours did too. Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be, the front is going to be a sort of digital screen to the front seats where you'll get to see Scooby and Shaggy, and you can see the gang sort of out the front of the vehicle. All right. They're going to have a special screen all along one side, because like some of them have their sort of computer screens and stuff like that, which are going to be able to provide a sort of image on the outside, because they're like, oh, you got to be able to look out the outside to see. So that's going to be sort of, we'll use a sort of digital and like cameras is how we'll explain it. It's really just a digital screen there. And then the back two windows we'll have it. So I want this to feel like it's like you're in the Mystery Machine van. They've sort of accommodated, they've updated the technology that's inside it so that you can see and sort of spot things a little bit better. But the idea is that you'll get to be in the cartoon. So this isn't the live action version. I want like the cartoon Shaggy or cartoon Fred and Scooby and stuff to hop in or to do stuff outside the van, and that you're along for the ride as they're sort of doing this, with the idea that in the end you'll get to capture the costumes and return back to the museum to see them in all their glory. So that's my first ride. It's sort of a simulation ride with a museum experience at the beginning.
Okay, cool. So it's like a motion machine when you're in there, like the ride's not on a track, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
So space-wise simple. I essentially I like aspects of the Back to the Future. I love Back to the Future. Rest in peace. Yeah. Let's give us a moment of silence.
Pour a little bubbly out.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Oh God, it's onto your computer. No.
No.
No, when they replaced it with The Simpsons, it's like, well, they just did the same exact ride. But I like some of that concept. I like the setup was always memorable to me for Back to the Future, of being in that room and sort of getting the whole story background and stuff like that. The one thing I wanted to eliminate was the rising car up into the air, to where if you look, you can see all these other cars and it's a big projection screen. I wanted to make it feel a little bit more inclusive. So these would be individual ride vehicles, but I figure with today's technology of screens and LCD and stuff like that, and since I'm making this cartoon Scooby, it's doable.
Great.
That's
it.
attraction number 1.
Love it. Great.
Real simple.
Attraction number 2.
What are you doing inside the actor's studio? Like we're burning daylight.
I'm trying to think which one I can alter for a Bill and Ted, because I didn't have a Bill and Ted pitch, but
oh no, sir. No, pitch the things you wanted to pitch.
I mean, I had a Bill and Ted pitch.
Dude, like I always have a Bill and Ted pitch. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
maybe I have a Bill and Ted.
I already have one
enough.
backed up.
Brad,
All right,
go.
I'm gonna save it for my third attraction though. For my second attraction, it's going to be a roller coaster. All right, Scooby-Doo many times takes place in amusement parks. Broken down sort of fairground, carnival type deals and stuff like that. So we're going to do a roller coaster. Now this is
This sounds familiar.
A roller coaster. You're going to capture this villain, this clown villain, to nab him. There we go. Nab the villain. Nab the bad guy.
I fixed it.
You just use a different word. So anyways, you're going to be doing this roller coaster, but like every trap that's set up, it always goes wrong. And this roller coaster is going to go off the rails. So what's going to happen is the roller coaster will turn and you'll curve sort of off the rails. And then I want to have the rails essentially be sunk down into the ground so that they look like your cart is just driving and weaving through the rest of the carnival. So like weaving into the sort of House of Mirrors area, weaving through the sort of fun and games and the carnival booths and stuff like that. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use Guardians of the Galaxy roller coasters coming out. And they're using a new sort of roller coaster system that allows them to turn the
story car
so that it gives you you can turn and force the audience to look at what you want them to look at and make it a little bit more story based. So I want to do that as you're sort of you're wildly going through, crashing through this carnival and eventually nabbing the bad guy at the end through accidental means. Because that's all it ever is with Shaggy and Scooby is they accidentally somehow manage to nab him. And so you're part of that. Starts off like a roller coaster, but the second, probably about the last 2/3 of it, it goes off the rails. The track is going to be more just in the ground, so it's gonna it's essentially like it's transitioning.
Hold on. The track's gonna be in the ground, or is it gonna be like a roller coaster?
I'm saying essentially, so what it's going to be is like the track is going to be in a divot in the ground.
Okay.
So like it'll be sunken in, so it looks like it's part of the ground. Does that make sense?
Copy. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a ditch.
Yeah. Like the Thunder Mountain, where your level.
You want a themed coaster that stays at a ground level.
Yes.
Copy.
Except for the very beginning.
Yes. All right. That makes a lot more sense.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Just triple checking, bud.
I appreciate that. So that is pitch number 2. All right, my third attraction. Great. My third attraction is going to be a restaurant and a show. Let's talk about the restaurant first. The restaurant is going to be designed like a haunted house, like a creepy sort of haunted house, older castle-ish sort of looking, and it's going to be counter service food. What I mean by that is you're going to using an app, since everybody's moving to phone apps and stuff like that. Using an app, we'll also have a couple of kiosks sort of outside. For those that don't have a phone or aren't able to use a phone, we'll sort of decoratively have some kiosks outside of the building where you can place your order for your food, which you'll then pick up from the kitchen. Well, because they're not actually cooking it in that kitchen. So I'm doing finger quotes.
Yeah.
The kitchen.
The kitchen.
Oh, we get it.
It'll look like a kitchen. It'll look like a kitchen in a house.
I'm embarrassed for you. Go on, continue.
Okay. So you'll get it from the kitchen. Then you'll be able to sit throughout the house where there'll be eyes peering through the portraits and knight armor that's moving and stuff like that. And then that's where we're going to have our Bill and Ted-esque style show, except with the gang. And they're going to be actually solving a mystery and working on solving a mystery throughout this entire restaurant. And so the way it's going to work is it's going to be a bunch of small scenes throughout the different rooms that allow for a little bit of improv so that they can interact with the actual guests that are there, mixed with a lot of Scooby-Doo references. And the fun thing about this is we can have funny moments of crossovers. But instead of why have the guests, like, why have other people be these crossovers? Hey, I remember you. You from the Globetrotters, right? You were from the Globetrotters.
Always the Globetrotters.
It's always the Globetrotters.
Oh, yeah, of course, it's always the Globetrotters.
You can have fun little bits like that, stuff like that. But I think it'll make it so that every sort of room you'll want to come back to this restaurant, even just to be able to sit in the different rooms and see the different scenes that are playing out and see if you can catch them chasing the monster or stuff like that, to see where they ultimately solve the mystery and how the mystery is ultimately solved. So that is my restaurant. The foods are going to have a lovely little Scooby twist. So it's going to be a smorgasbord of food. Not a yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, bud.
So big sandwich, chicken legs, actual turkey legs and stuff like that. All the wide variety of things. It's pretty much, I can put whatever I want on the menu because it's Scooby-Doo. And they eat anything. And we'll throw treats. The dessert will be Scooby snack.
Yeah, are there names for any of these rides or restaurants?
The names. So I have
No.
You get the restaurant with Bill and Ted infusion.
Yeah.
All right, here's my names. The first ride, we're gonna call it Mystery Machine Madness.
Okay. I like it.
Solid title.
Yeah.
Second ride is going to be I don't know.
We're running out of film, but great. So we'll circle back to Brad later as we go on to our next pitches. This never happened before, but we're not giving him that more of a window. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to Spencer. Spencer, are you ready?
I think so.
Oh God, bud, here we go. Take it away.
Okay, so first things first, I wanted to incorporate both the movies and the animated show. So I started with from the movie. As we know, there's a theme park in the movie, and one of the rides that actually exists in the movie is called Splatterhorn, which is a take on Matterhorn. So that's what we've got is Splatterhorn.
Theme park trap. That's the name of my roller coaster. Theme park trap. All right.
So
I'll get to you on the restaurant.
Oh no.
Back to Splatterhorn. Splatterhorn is an indoor roller coaster that follows a trajectory similar to Matterhorn bobsleds with the backwards appeal of Expedition Everest, but with a Scooby-Doo twist. Based on the 2002 hit nostalgic movie, guests traverse through Spooky Island as they work to avoid encountering Scrappy Doo, who has turned into a monster via the Daemonitis. I don't know how to pronounce it specifically, but it's Latin. Ready to capture the souls of the guests. Just like in Matterhorn and Expedition, there is an encounter with Scrappy Doo as the monster, in which guests get up close and personal with a huge Scrappy Doo animatronic, along with some mapping projections. Eventually, to avoid getting souls captured, just like you would with he's like get the souls. Guests are thrust backward, all Expedition Everest, and eventually end in one final scene where Scrappy is getting captured, if you will, or nabbed, and Spooky Island is restored.
Did you just redesign?
Hold on. Did you redesign my ride?
Yeah.
What?
So for those of you who are wondering what the hell's going on, we, before the show even started, way back before season 1, we did a few trial episodes. These are a few things of us just playing back and forth, playing with the idea, and we tried to run them in practicum. Now, one of the things that happened during this was we tried our hands at a few topics. One of those happened to be Scooby-Doo. One of the rides that was theoretically pitched was that. So Spencer, I love the idea. I love it so much, especially when I came up with it.
It's a great idea, Spencer.
It's a great idea, Spencer.
I don't even remember this.
Take your points. It's fine. No, here's the thing. I'm gonna win on my own accord. But Spencer, I love this. So let me ask you something.
I'm sorry. I didn't even.
No,
I literally looked at my PowerPoint that I did.
Fine, bud. Oh, you're fine. But let me ask you some questions about your ride. Your ride, Spencer.
Mystery Mansion Mayhem is the name of my restaurant.
There's a lot of alliteration in all the
Thank
names.
Yeah, some good alliteration. Getting back to Spencer's pitches. Spencer, this ride that you're talking about, you say it's like a Matterhorn meets Expedition Everest, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you want it to be a heavily themed bobsled or toboggan style ride, correct?
Not necessarily with that. It's just more of the thematic elements. Is like you're traversing through a mountain.
So it's
and
not
then
a matter.
You encounter. It's Matterhorn style, yeah. It's
no, it's not. Like it's just Expedition Yeti or whatever it's called.
Expedition Yeti. It can be. You can be in toboggans. You can be in like spaceship things. It can be like a space mountain. It can be in
you can't just
Matterhorn
keep
bobsled.
changing.
It can be whatever kind
ride,
of mountain. It's a mountain. It's like a mountain.
Right,
And you
ride's
go in the
hard.
mountain with your ride.
The thing you're on
Yeah.
is
It's
what?
Is a mountain. You're riding on mountains.
You're riding in a mountain.
It's like a roller coaster.
It's
So like you're in like a roller
it's
coaster
it's
car.
like a little mountain, and you sit on top of the
So
little
you're in a
mountain
roller
and
coaster
you
car,
ride.
not in a bobsled car like in Matterhorn.
Correct, because Expedition Everest doesn't have bobsled. You're in like a regular old like roller coaster style.
That's what I'm
car.
saying.
So I'm combining the two ideas.
You're not combining anything from Matterhorn. You're taking
Okay,
nothing
okay,
from Matterhorn.
okay,
and you're
okay.
just-
No, I'm
Okay.
taking the trajectory of Matterhorn. I said the path of Matterhorn bobsleds with the backwards appeal of Expedition Everest. So it's essentially along the lines of like you're going through the mountain.
Have you been on
But
Expedition
then-
Everest? Because you're literally just
Yeah, I
describing
have.
Expedition.
I have. It made me dizzy,
Gentlemen,
but I liked it.
let's check in with Alex here for a second. Alex, do you understand what the hell's going on?
Look, I didn't hear the practice runs where someone may have pitched this ride. So to me, I like a ride that comes straight from a movie that I recognize. So
Great.
I'm kind of
Take
into it.
it. By all means, it's his to enjoy. And I'm glad that's what you're understanding. Now, Alex, do you have any questions for his first
I
ride?
apologize if I took your ride. I don't even remember.
Oh, no, it's okay, bud. Revenge will be
I
swift.
love how heated this is.
Yeah, no, it's which
I'm
brings
very
us to
aloof.
why we're so serious about it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, all these points at the end of the season that are awarded to us get brought together to bring a big score. Now, that person who loses is going to be stuck listening to the electrical light parade on repeat for 24 hours. That's why we're so fearsome with our play here.
If it's one of you
So-
guys, you're just going to sit here and remember this exact moment if you lose by that amount of points. And you're going to rue this day.
This ruin, absolutely ruin. You'll have to come back.
Meddling
as the tiebreaker
kids.
next
You
game.
would have gotten away
Yes.
with it too.
So, Spencer, you got your first idea down. What is it called one more time?
Splatterhorn,
The Splatterhorn. Now let's move on to your second concept.
because I had a title for it. My second one
like
is called Scooby Snack Cafe, which is Scooby snacks, but it's like a cafe. So it's a small, it's a moderately sized cafe with Scooby Doo based snack items from the TV series and the movies, including Scooby Snacks, which are vanilla wafer cookies, and they also have take-home versions for pets or dogs that guests can purchase, as well as liverwurst a la mode, though the liverwurst is some sort of chocolate mousse cake shaped like liverwurst. Shaggy Snack, which is a pot pie with pizza crust, anchovies, pepperoni, cherries, and a chocolate sauce, which is actually going to be a darkened glazed balsamic. Vampire Wings. Fried Moonbeams, which is like fried cheese without the casing. Ghost Pirate Stew, which is ghost pepper, goji berries, potatoes, pine nuts, carrots. Get it? GP, ghost, goji, pirate, pine nuts, potatoes, carrots for the
Now we're just saying.
pirate,
Now you're just saying things you could eat.
and more. These are all based on items that were in the series, and there's more also as well. And the hold on, let me finish the pitch first. And the layout is as if the mystery machine was big. It's not a vehicle, but it's just like like the eave or the overhang or whatever is like you're walking into a big back of a mystery machine, and there's cafe like little seats and stuff inside of it. But it's like if the mystery machine didn't have wheels and was bigger, that's what the building looks like. And that's it. It's a Scooby Snack Cafe, and there'll be cartoons playing, like they do at.
Oh, good. That's what I was concerned.
Here, I think we can easily just point out the biggest flaw in this. Alex, would you eat the majority of the items on Spencer's menu here?
One is just chocolate cake shaped like a sausage, right? I don't see anything wrong with that. That seems perfectly fine.
that's-
for
So
Scooby-Doo.
that's the one I picked up, and I was like, that's weird.
But it's very Scooby-Doo. Look, Scooby-Doo
fun.
notoriously
It's fun.
eats weird stuff.
Yeah, whatever
would
he
you
wants.
eat it
Together.
as a theme park guest? Would you be like, okay, this is gonna sell? Yeah, I'm gonna buy this.
Yes,
anchovy
my-
and pineapple balsamic
Oh,
vinegar.
hold on. What about the goji berry and what was
Yeah,
it? Carolina
Ghost,
Reaper?
Ghost Pirate Stew. So here's the thing. I took the ideas of what was in the TV show and I literally went, would this be edible and would it be appetizing? And I said, some of these might work and some of them might not, which is why I changed the chocolate sauce in that Shaggy snack to a dark and glazed balsamic because it matches more with the pizza crust, anchovies, pepperoni, and the cherries has a little bit of a bitterness like the balsamic. So when you put it all together, it actually makes for a savory, sweet, salty meal versus putting a chocolate sauce in there. So I took it out, which is why I put it in quotes and I said, which is actually going to be a dark and glazed balsamic.
Look, I think that's a smart choice. I've been at a buffet before traveling with a group where someone put chocolate sauce all over their salad. So it's a very real by accident. It's a real mistake. I relate to that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think your menu sounds disgusting.
Well, that's one opinion.
I think dessert foods masked as savory foods for Scooby-Doo, that works. I would order
that
a
would
chocolate cake shaped like a hot dog or sausage.
That correction is a great idea.
Yeah, it'd be great. If this was a dessert cafe, it'd be great to have them all desserts. But because it's a cafe where you can snack on Scooby snacks, you can have some salty, you can have some sweet, you can have different options. And there are the normal options like Scooby snacks, which is like a vanilla wafer cookie. It's very simple versus the more for the more daring people. Like I would try a Ghost Pirate Stew. I wouldn't necessarily like it, but I would try it because it's something new and it's exciting. And it's like, oh, this is what Scooby-Doo, this is what Shaggy and Scooby-Doo ate. I want to eat what they're eating. I want to try these things. And fried moonbeams is like fried mozzarella sticks, but instead of the casing, it's just
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I eat fried cheese.
And also, how popular do you think anchovies are?
I can guarantee you there's not another theme park that has anchovies. So the fact that there's
a reason.
Do you know why?
For the people who want to come and have anchovies. But here's the thing. You can also just be like, I want this with no anchovies. No big deal.
I was thinking that too. Like I would probably order it without anchovies.
Because it goes over really well with short order cooks.
Yeah, it's
made to order.
It's a cafe. It's a cafe.
Nothing says
which means that pizza's
going
to already just be made.
Substitutions and exchanges.
Like theme park pizzas just gets made and you just get a slice of it.
Okay, so then you can get a slice of that. But if you want to be daring,
what's your third pitch? What is your third pitch?
What's your third pitch, bud? So
my third pitch is Scooby. I'm gonna see if I can do it too. I'm gonna throw Bill and Ted into here. It's Scooby and Bill and Ted and the Gang Go Hollywood. So the musical. So what this is
you got me a musical. You don't even need Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted, your thing.
No, he's throwing it on there, and unjustified.
So maybe I'll go back to the original.
No.
Bill and Ted. All right, fine, great. So in what is sort of a pseudo sequel and a truncated version of the Scooby-Doo TV movie Scooby Goes Hollywood, Scooby Goes Hollywood is a theatrical musical where Shaggy and Scooby and the gang all work toward helping Daphne pitch her show Coast to Coast with Daphne Blake as a primetime show on a major network after its mildly successful run on Americana. And throughout their pitching sessions, they run into Bill and Ted, and the gang and Bill and Ted all get together and, all the pop culture references and all of that. But Scooby and Shaggy, having already pitched to CJ before, are there to help the gang get in the room. But of course, shenanigans ensue, like Bill and Ted coming in, and Scooby and Shaggy get distracted by food. And it also includes the classic Hollywood songs like Hooray for Hollywood, I Will Talk and Hollywood Will Listen. And of course, the classic Scooby-Doo tracks, Ruby Cool Guy, Me and My Shadow Demon, and of course, the Scooby-Doo theme song. So it's a Scooby-Doo and Bill and Ted and the Gang, the musical.
Bill and Ted seems so randomly thrown in there that it doesn't fit. Like it's clearly mine doesn't have Bill and Ted in it. Let's be clear. My show, I said Bill and Ted sort of style that.
Because you couldn't figure out how to put it in there.
Humor. No, because Bill and Ted, as much as I love them, I can take show elements. I can't put Bill and Ted in there unless I'm making a whole if you're gonna put Bill and Ted in there, they have to have the whole show around them. That's the whole point of the Bill and Ted show.
You don't have to because it's Scooby-Doo and Bill and Ted. Have you ever been to
the Bill and Ted show? But Bill and
also,
Ted,
here's the thing: Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are pitching Daphne's show to a bunch of Hollywood executives. So there's no telling that they can't run into Bill and Ted on this journey. That's very easy for them to run into Bill and Ted.
Do you think Daphne's going to trust Scooby and Shaggy to pitch her show?
Yeah, she real dumb.
I don't. Well, this is. I think
once she more Fred or Velma, right?
I like her reaction to it. Yeah.
Believable. I was with it the whole time. She's going for
And
it.
also, if you listen to my pitch, I said where Scooby and Shaggy and the gang all work toward helping Daphne pitch her show.
Buddy, I actively avoid trying to listen to your pitch, but yet we're still here.
Oh, yes. That's why you ask me questions that I can answer.
I'm just
All right,
confused
so
by
that's
this
fair.
show.
So that's your show, buddy. This
Yep.
jambalaya of poorly.
It's in a one sentence pitch. It would be Daphne and the gang pitch her show to a CBS, not CBS, just any network executive based on.
Now we're in a few
including
sentences.
Bill and Ted.
I could do a one sentence pitch for this too, I think. I
Please.
would do Alex Rose Wiesel gets employment doing a theme park show again, period. And I'm in.
You know,
That might work too.
here's
I
the
like that
thing.
title.
I'm on board for the idea. It's just a long marquee, and I know that the graphics department's gonna it's rough to try to put across a thing. I'm all for it.
I just think currently, as the way Spencer has described this show, I can describe it from the executive point of view in one word: pass.
Oh no!
Ooh, shots
Oh
fired.
no! It's so funny. We're all inside, and yet still so much shade.
Wait, here's a question though. I pitched just the show and maybe incorporated Bill and Ted last minute. You took a restaurant and a show and said it's kind of Bill and Ted-esque, but also it's a restaurant, but also it's all of this. I did just a show.
I took a
A
restaurant,
restaurant and a show. Is that technically one pitch or two pitches?
All right. Well, there you have it. So those are Spencer's pitches. A lot goes away in your brain grapes. We're going to come back to them in a little bit after we get to my.
Make sure they're purple.
pitches.
Make sure they're purple grapes.
Oh,
They
boy,
are purple
bud.
grapes.
So Scooby-Doo has a very special place in my heart. It's one of the shows that taught me the zaniness and silliness, but also shouted out some of my favorite classic characters and classic comedy folks. So you have Don Knotts, you have Laurel and Hardy, you have even the original Batman in there. So you have all these icons in this show, and a lot of what it has to do is just throwing out jokes for the sake of the cameo. So with that in mind, let's start with my first ride, which is a dark ride. Now, I understand that there is a Scooby-Doo dark ride that already exists. It currently is in Dubai. But the ones that are out there don't really capture this feel and tone that I want to hit with my ride. Now, I'm looking to bring this back to the retro style of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I want to try to build this in with that sort of feel where you're painted into the cartoon itself. So after loading into a cartoon mystery machine, where the sides of it will come down to allow you into the cabin of the car, the sides will only come up halfway. So the reveal of the car as it pulls up into its way station will be that the sides will lower so you see the whole mystery machine's profile. However, upon loading into it, it'll come up halfway, sort of like the Jurassic Park Jeep style. So once you're into this, we're going to go through a good old-fashioned cameo onslaught. There'll be sort of a fun, slower ride, not quite to the pace of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but we're looking at a little bit faster than Haunted Mansion. Really play up the spookiness and the fun and the decor as things come to life as you play. Yes, I'm going
one notch above Superstar Limo, one notch below Radiator Springs, but somewhere in there.
It's a ride that goes in one direction.
Your speed classification was just everywhere.
Pretty much. But here's the fun part. So as you get through the ride, things will start to not seem quite right. Now, the Rogues Gallery from Scooby-Doo is one of my favorite things, whether it be the haunted skeletons, the ghost pirates, or even just the diver. All these sorts of things have their heads popping in. One at a time, you start to notice in the scenes as they unfold, these other villains maintaining their appearances in the following scenes. So as you see the Creeper, he also appears in the next vignette. The idea being that you are being chased by these villains. At the final big part of the ride, you're going to approach one of my favorite classic shots from Scooby-Doo, running back and forth between doorways, having people follow you. The idea being that in the center will be a mirror. The mirror will have the mirror image of you as you go back and forth between these doors. And each time you'll have a third rider in the back of your car sitting with you. So it'll be a different villain, or maybe they'll replace you in the mirror via a composite image. But the idea being that each time you see a different thing, even one time where you can't see yourselves, you just see just one of the villains sitting in the car.
Like
that fun back and forth. Yes, basically, it's a hitchhiking ghost, but on steroids. As you go back and forth. As you pull in, you start to see the cops take off the mask, and it's the ride operator that loaded you onto the car. So this is sort of that fun thing where it's like, oh no, that person who let me onto the car. Like we get to have that moment and have that fun. That is my first ride. That's called Scoob and the Game. Questions?
So you'd ride it multiple times and you'd get a different, so encouraging people to ride over and over. Okay, cool.
You have the randomness of it. Plus that's a great moment to like take out your phone and do a selfie or something like that. You have that moment built into the ride experience itself.
Like, do you get like a picture afterward or no?
Yeah, we could have a front facing camera that like allows it to like have the image. You'll have a choice between all 5 of the ones that were in your car. So you could choose that one and have it printed out, or knowing people now, they take out their phones and take a photo.
You said the ride operator is going to be the person that's nabbed at the end. How does that workflow work?
Two ride ops, they send the card out, they switch to the other side to let off. No, you don't have to do twins. You just have the same 2 ride ops and a door. It's that simple as the person hands off the thing of, like, it's a cloak, because that's, for some reason, they're never in the full costume. They're always in like some cloak, but the mask is the same.
I feel like I get it. I feel like there's a lot of safety.
Would it make you
issues.
feel better, but if I said there's 2 people that slightly look the same, like you cast a princess that looks a certain way and it happens to be the same thing every time. You cast an archetype. Would that make you feel better?
Like twins?
No, I mean, I would pick up on it was a different person, because that's what everyone thinks. They always think it's a different person anyways. Having worked at haunted houses, I know all about trapdoors, and trapdoors are fun, but when you have one group coming and you got another group, it's like quick. So the fact that this seems like a very big ride compared to the haunted houses I've worked at, and I'm not ride operating, I'm literally scaring people and then going to a trapdoor, scaring another group, and then going back. I don't have to deal with the mechanics of actually operating the ride on top of acting in the ride. So I guess that's just what I'm questioning and concerned about.
I appreciate the notes. I suppose what we could, my answer to it is, and as a final verdict on that, is sort of.
I love the idea.
It's a very good point.
Want it to succeed.
It could be solved by doing an operator actor switch out. So we instead of it being a guy that presses the button is the one that sends them out, we do what they do on Jungle Cruise. It's you staff the cruises with a ride operator, so that person is assigned to that car. So if it means having them act one more moment in it, and it's a revolving rotation of several people, that could work.
Or it has to be like a video. You could do a video in the beginning and then a video at the end. Like where you get on the ride and you're like, oh, I'm so glad you're here today. And it's like,
or the person who gives the instructions at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jimmy Fallon takes the mask off.
You got it.
Oh, Jimmy Fallon.
Now he's on 2 rides. Oh, no.
He's on 3 now.
It's a universal monopoly.
Second ride. Let's talk about, instead of it being a ride, we've already talked food. We've had this idea of it being a giant cafe in a van. We had this
not in a van, if you were listening.
Sir, it is my pitch.
It's a van without the wheels.
Putting a giant cafe in a van without the wheels.
But it was shaped like, not it was.
Yes, it was like the Bowers, but it was a cafe. And then we also had Brad's idea, which was a place that sells Scooby snacks, is whatever.
And there's a show. There's a show too.
Right.
It's an actual food place where you can sit down and get
food place.
A restaurant day with counter service.
With a kitchen.
Using an app where you would go to the kitchen section design set of
or
this
the kiosk
house,
outside.
The kitchen set of this house where you would pick up your food.
Right. So I'm going to go and simplify this whole thing.
No, I want to be clear. There are more than just Scooby snacks at this place. I'm having sandwiches. I'm having
the smorgasbord
food. Not weird mixture.
No, you did. No, Brad, you did say like there were double-decker sandwiches or some big sandwich. You did describe a large sandwich.
So let's get into my version, which is just called mine's just called a midnight snack. Now, midnight snack is where Shaggy has designed a menu with Scoob and him in mind. Now, this is a place where we're going to play off of the gimmick food idea. The plates are going to be designed with a wooden dowel through the center. This wooden dowel is there to support what I want to basically do, a double-sized version of a deli sandwich. I'm talking, you're going everything, just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, and then put through this wooden dowel to allow for it to stand up straight. So we'll have this styled food. The idea being that you could order multiple items but they would all be stacked on top of each other. The kiosks would allow you to design the separate parts of the sandwich, or you can go by ingredient by ingredient. The idea being that you end up with something along the lines of a 30, 40, or 50 layered sandwich. So this is my place called Midnight Snack. Now, here's the other things that they sell there. I did love the idea of having dog treats that are sold at the park. The only thing is that dogs have different styles, and it's kind of hard to be carrying that around all day. So what I've decided to do is incorporate a high diet protein snack known as the Scooby Snack that is a subscription service that you could buy at the park that you could have delivered straight to your door. You don't have to carry home these dog treats. You don't have to worry about it.
Hold on. Is this a separate? Is this your third attraction?
No, it's this premium experience within the midnight snack.
Within your midnight
Bingo.
snack.
So the premium experience allows you to order a custom-made kit for your dog to arrive every month, so your best friend can be happy and healthy via your Scooby Snack.
And I like the reason that you're not selling treats is not because the dogs have different appetites. It's because they have different styles.
Different styles.
Different dogs, different.
But to be able to get a Scooby Snack box with your dog's photo on it arriving at your house every month in that same carton feel, I think that would be pretty cool.
Here's my question. Why?
Yes, you in the front.
Why wooden dowels?
Why wooden dowels?
I'm assuming they're taking these plates with them.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
So it just seems like you're burning through a lot of wood.
A lot of trees.
A lot of trees just to make these sandwiches. It feels like there's a lot more eco-friendly ways to do this exact same concept you want to do that isn't going to require us to harvest a rainforest every 2 weeks.
Right, but here's the only thing. My version allows them to unscrew those dowels and put them into a toaster if you wanted a hot sandwich. So being able to cook it like it's a skewer allows you to put it back into the actual.
You mean a toaster oven?
It could be its own cooking oven type thing. Yeah.
Not a toaster.
No, not like a.
That's a fire hazard, Oliver.
No, that is
a safety hazard. Sticking a wooden stick into a toaster.
Think of it like an air fryer.
Have you considered just a food-based option to be the dowel, an
like
edible option to go,
like a giant celery stick
to go in the center, and that's what you build everything around? I think that's a better
idea.
A giant carrot?
Brad, excellent idea. Thank you. I know.
Brad, I agree. I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so hold on a minute here. The reason I'm going with the wood is because you can do a recycled option. Second of all, we have tons of wooden food options that are brought to you whenever you go to like a good steak place or something like that.
You can name them right now. What are you talking about?
Steakhouse, somewhere real classy, like an Applebee's.
I know they have that. What am I getting at Outback Steakhouse?
What am I getting at Applebee's?
You can get anything. What am I? Why am I?
Are you talking about you're talking about the skewers?
There's no dowel gate here. This is only affecting you. No one else is hung up on the dowel.
Can we talk about the subscription package?
No, I don't care about that.
No,
how big are the dowels? Like, what are the size of these?
They're
dowels?
like giant sword sizes if they're gonna get in the big old sandwiches.
That's what I'm thinking. It's a big stick. You're just giving everybody a big stick.
Please don't hurt anybody with these. Please don't fight in the park.
How about this, Alex? Alex, if this is the thing, if this is going to be the thing that dissuades you from my idea, then let this be the hill I die.
I told you I like the title.
I think it's got a lot of problems here. Why not have it?
I think it's got a lot of promise.
You could be a pretzel. It could be a pretzel.
Moving on.
Is there a missed opportunity for this restaurant name in using alliteration and a very common Shaggy and Scooby term that has to do with something that happens when you hot box the mystery machine? Should we not be calling this restaurant
Munchies?
Midnight Munchies.
Yes, I do feel like that would have been a much better name, and I will fully cop to that, Alex. That's on me. The only reason I'm saying it is because they also would say it's time for a midnight snack. And there was a joke that the repeat version of that was, but it's not midnight. Well, I want a snack now. Like it is a running joke. However, I do think for a categorical name for a ride or for an attraction, I think that would be much more fun. The Midnight Munchies, especially if we play it up.
Oliver, I just want to say thank you for having a title for your attraction. That was real great.
You're welcome,
I think,
Spencer.
I think you at least had one, so that was nice.
I think it helps with the judging process, especially.
It was a well thought out title.
Yeah. Let's move on to the third.
If this isn't a Bill and Ted's pitch, I'm out.
It is, and that's my favorite part. Except it's slightly off from that, because one of the things I wanted to do
So
is
it's not.
yes. So hold on a minute here. It takes cues from it. So I promised you Harlem Globetrotters, and I promised you a lot of other cameos, but most of all, I want to hit something that is more appropriate to the Scooby-Doo universe. Now, growing up with Universal being in my backyard, I absolutely adored the Beetlejuice show. There was something fun, something campy. It had its own fun and feel to it. What I'm going to do is allow
Scooby-Doo Bill and Ted's Rock and Roll Graveyard Review. Got it.
Let him pitch.
I like it.
Mine is going to be a rock concert by the Hex Girls. Now, the Hex Girls, for those listening, are a coven of women that can really rock. They are awesome. And one of the things that happens is while they're trying to get their show off the ground, there's a mystery afoot. So we'll have the mystery team show up to this concert with you. At certain points during the show, you'll reserve, and this is part of this whole experience. You're going to be going in and having this Hex Girl show. Things will start to go wrong, but the mystery team will come in and intervene and solve this mystery. Complete with special exit and entrance gags, you'll be able to chase down the villains that are preventing you from being able to rock out. Now, here is one of my favorite parts. Growing up, one of my favorite experiences and one of the most important things in my childhood that led me to be a performer was a moment that I can call back to the circus. Barnum and Bailey used to have something where they would have a clown part where someone would be asked from the audience, a random person, to come forward and be part of the show. This person would get to do setup gags and things that were fun. And I remember specifically my dad getting up and going and doing this. Someone who's not a clown, has no clowning training, but he was doing this amazing act with all these people making him look great. How cool would it be if the way that you reserve tickets, the same way that you would be doing a fast pass system at a modern day theme park, you were able to submit for a fast pass for this attraction? Random phones that are suggested by a demographic setup when you set up for the park will register whether they are a person that could be a candidate to be the monster all along. Now, here's how this would play out. At a certain point during the show, you'll get a message from the actual show that will tell you to check your phones. Now, we'll let people know this on their way in, that they might receive something mid-show. It'll be an alert, but it will be one that pops up in-app saying, please exit to the escape door on the side. We're going to use you in the show. Please do not let anyone around you know this. They would ideally then sneak away and then be brought back to pop out at the end and be the big monster at the end of the show and rock out and make them feel great. Yes, I know you'd be wondering what's happening. They could excuse themselves. We build it into the app. But the idea is that they would have a fun time getting to see their family member be the one who was the one all along. So this was
go to the bathroom.
You're expecting guests to really like keep this a secret, because if that was me, I'd be like, guys, guess what? Guess what?
Honestly, I bet they would if you do it right. If you build it into the intro of the show. But the idea is that you get to see a live show featuring the Hex Girls. Will do some dog stunt if it fits Scooby or something like that. But the idea is that we'll get to do all these different aspects as part of the Hex Girls show. This is a good point for the Harlem Globetrotters to show up and do basketball choreography in the background of the show. I'm sorry, about all the stunts.
Choreography?
Yes, you heard me. They're going to be doing everything. There's going to be trampoline stuff. There's going to be excellent basketball stuff. We're going to pull out all the stops. And it ends. Excuse me, I'm not done. It ends in a delightful cacophony as they finish their show with a song by Sugar Ray. And that is my act for this delightful show.
I feel like the Globetrotter thing was.
I hope the Sugar Ray song is the remake of Abracadabra, because that makes sense with this appearance and returning.
The name of the show is A Night with Scooby-Doo. This is the show. That is my idea. There you go. We're done. Those are my ideas. I'll wait for applause. Yes.
A Night with Scooby-Doo. Even though it's starring the Hex Girls,
yes, but
it doesn't really have Scooby-Doo in it.
And takes place during the
Scooby-Doo.
day.
Secondly, I'll come back to me. I forgot what the other thing
Fine.
was
Would you prefer the Hex Fest thing?
I do actually prefer that. I like that a lot.
Great. There you go.
No,
But you can't change it now.
The simple idea was the best. The Hex Girls show, excellent. Using someone from the audience, excellent.
And the
It just
basketball
got
Globetrotters.
overcomplicated.
I get it. No, that's what's needed. That's the part that really helps.
What do I want to use in this pitch?
Just threw the Harlem Globetrotters in there. I think to satisfy me, and you did not do that. I mean, you
Not satisfied.
Well,
no.
hard to please.
You-
What are you gonna do? Can't
You
please
put them
everyone.
as background actors, and the Harlem Globetrotters are not background actors. Thank you very much.
They are to the Hex Girls.
I will say, I
They
agree
are a
with
separate
Alex.
show. I would not have put them together. Asking someone to randomly get a text and then sneak out of the show, that's not going to happen. They're just going to be like, well, that person got up and left, so
I like to give it an option. So those are my pitches. Now you have them. So Alex, do you have any questions for my pitches?
I have questions. I really do, truly from the bottom of my heart, think the Hex Girls idea is fantastic. It was a beautiful painting that didn't need more touch-ups, and then it got a couple too many touch-ups.
It had so many touch-ups. It was I threw them in. I get it. That's on me. So with that in mind, are you ready to pass judgment?
No, I got one more question. Back to the Dowls. Why
Okay.
didn't you do
So
Princess
let's go
Picks?
ahead and review our pitches from the top down. Brad, you had.
I had Mystery Machine Mayhem. I had my roller coaster, which was called Theme Park Trap.
Oh boy. And then the
And
the
then I
third
had
one never
my-
got a name.
It
did.
did.
It's
did.
3 M's.
Alliteration, yeah.
Yeah, it was 3 M's again. It was. I should have written. It was
Midnight Munchies.
No, it was Mansion.
Midnight Mansion Munchies is what it was called.
Oh boy, bud.
That wasn't what it was called.
That is what it was
that's
called. I
okay.
have it
Those
written
are-
down
those
right
are
here.
Brad's.
I have it written down. Do you want me to show it to you?
Spencer, go ahead.
Mansion.
My pitches are the controversial / stolen Splatterhorn, the Scooby Snack Cafe with all the super wonderful creative concepts,
those are disgusting.
foods, and Scooby-Doo and Bill and Ted and the Gang Go Hollywood, the musical.
Great. I had A Night with Scooby-Doo. I had the Midnight Snack, and I had the I believe it was like the Mystery Machine Experience, or something along those lines. It was the
Hex
it-
Girls.
Good name.
I think you just called it Scooby-Doo and the Gang.
Oh yeah, no, that's it. Scooby-Doo in the game. Done.
Easy to
All right.
remember. I will say that.
It's the geniuses right there. So
Right
Alex,
there, yeah.
I do not envy you. You're in a very difficult position. We're
I
so
really am.
sorry to put you in it. But let's start off with creative. These are the awards for creative. So you're giving out bronze first, followed by silver, then gold. These will equate to 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points. So you have to choose from the 9 options.
Great.
You're welcome to judge us on a human level
And
if
if
you
we
would
add
like.
the subscription service, it'd be 10.
Yeah. It's more of a 9+. So
Creative.
this is for the category creative. Alex, what gets the bronze?
Okay, so for my bronze of creative, I do like the ditch roller coaster. Is my bronze of creative. The roller coaster. To be honest, I just really visually see it, and to me, it looks Scooby-Doo. I see starting on a roller coaster, and then all of a sudden, we're in the ground, and it's cartoony, and we're going off the rails. So that's my bronze for creative.
Ditch coaster takes creative bronze. Now let's go on to silver. Silver, what do we got?
Okay, so my silver is I'm so torn. I'm so torn.
What's in between?
Well, I'm not going to tell you. It's going to ruin it. It's going to ruin it.
Surprise.
Ooh.
Okay.
Well, if it's a matter of giving you a second, we could quickly review what our social media is. Brad?
Yeah, check us out on social media. We have Instagram at Theoretical Thrills, Facebook, hey, it's also at Theoretical Thrills, and also all our score updates are on our website, theoreticalthrills.com. Man, we're very
back
easy to
the
remember.
action.
I'm going to go with the ride from the movie. Spencer, your first ride is silver for creative.
So happy for you, Spencer.
It's so creative, Spencer.
What a great job, Spencer, with your
It was
creative
creative to me
ride.
because I
Man,
didn't know
he's
it
so
existed.
creative.
Here's where I'm torn. I'm torn because to me, it's very creative. I've
It's
never
a
heard
very
it before.
I know.
Creatively
it's a
chose
great
Oliver's
ride.
idea.
It's so good. It's so good. I wish I thought of it.
I wish I would have thought of it too.
To make everyone feel better, my gold for creative is the dark ride where different monsters come into the cart.
That doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah, I'll take it. All right.
What is it? A Night with Scooby-Doo? Is that what that one is?
I think it's Scoob and the Gang.
It was Scooby and the Gang.
So the name needs a little love.
It needs some work. We're playing with some stuff. We had some people.
It's not a gold medal title, but it's a gold medal.
It's not a gold. Yeah, the idea is the gold medal. It's so creative. It doesn't have a title. It's beyond titles. It has elevated the game. So we have that. So that does make me feel better. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Spencer. Moving on. Let's move on to practical. These are the awards for practical. Now, what do we got, Alex? This is going for bronze.
I love you all, but none of these food ones are getting practical in my book.
That's fair. That's also fair. That's completely fair. That's on us.
For bronze, I'm going to go with that same one. The Scooby and the Gang is going to get bronze for me on
I'll
practical.
take it. That's bronze for practical. Goes to me.
Yeah, I think
moving on to
marks. If we would even out how we were going to do that reveal and and the picture thing and whatever. There was.
I'll get it. I'll get it on the next time I pitch Scoop themed rides to someone randomly. I promise. I'll get it on the next one.
Great.
So we got that. So I got bronze on that one. Now moving on to silver.
Okay. For silver practicality, I'm going to give to the Hollywood musical Daphne show. I do see that show being practical.
I do too.
That show to me makes.
Are you also is this also sort of like the secret, like you're putting it out there into the universe that you want this one out there? And
yeah, I secretly want to give it gold because I'm like, I would like to be in that show.
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
Wasn't Daphne in the Hex Girls too? So
she was.
Yeah, so
Which Oliver never mentioned that she was on the Hex Girls in his pitch.
Oliver had a lot of issues with this.
In my mind, I'm just stealing that Hex Girls pitch for my own because I think I could do
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Splatterhorn thing.
Which brings us to the gold for practical.
Great. Gold for practical is again going to be Brad's roller coaster. It does need a better name, but to me it makes a lot of practical sense. It's a roller coaster that then goes off the tracks, but we're in the ground and it's a ground ride. It just makes sense to me. I see it.
All right. Well, there you go. Those are the practicals. Brad's starting to sweep away. Now let's get to the fan favorite. This is the guest favorite. This is on you. This is whatever tickles your fancy. What is the bronze for guest favorite?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hex Girls, and I would have loved it if it would have stopped at Hex Girls.
You know what? Same here.
I think we all would have.
But I'll take that bronze. I'll take the bronze.
But I do love Hex Girls, and it's like the episode I was always watching. So it's
right. It was on all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so that takes care of bronze. Let's move on to silver.
Okay, my silver for fan favorite is, this one hasn't gotten a lot of love, but I think it deserves some love. I do think Spencer's Cafe in the Mystery Machine, it makes sense. Like I know it's weird. I know
you'll have to explain it to me later.
But it makes sense. I think people are gonna love it. It's such a Scooby-Doo thing. So yeah, I like that one as a fan favorite. And then number one for gold, if you put the musical in anything, I am sold. And it was a musical about Daphne Blake, so it played on my heartstrings. Spencer, you're getting gold for the Hollywood Daphne.
Yay.
No.
Everyone is correct.
Oh God.
I think that's a good lesson in knowing your audience, because Daphne Blake and the musical are, heavy hitter words for me.
Coming up next week, we do Pander, the musical.
Great.
I told y'all that Alex did Daphne at Scooby-Doo. I literally straight up said that in a text. So.
Oh, I know, bud. Well, there you have it, Alex. Thank you so much for being here. This was amazing, and having you join us for this was an absolute incredible experience. Thank you.
So fun. I love it.
On behalf of all of us here at Theoretical Thrills, I think that's it for us. So I'm Oliver.
I'm Brad.
I'm Spencer.
And that's Alex. Have a good one.
Bye.
Did you enjoy the episode you just watched? feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And if you have an interpretation of an idea based on the theme of the week, feel free to tag us on social media with hashtag Theoretical Thrills, and we may feature your ride and attraction on the show.
Theoretical thrills, the theory of the thrill.